Hey everybody, Jangro here. Welcome back to my mastering mechanism guide. Here I am in Valhelsia 6, and I am in a toxic cave, and I'm irradiated. This is Alex's mob's toxic cave, and I'm here because surrounding me is uranium. And in this pack, mechanism uranium is disabled. Once you find one of these caves, there is more uranium than you could possibly ever hope for. So let's just grab some of these. I'm going to come back with my digital miner to get a bunch more, but this should get us going with Fission. Stick around. Please give me a few seconds to thank our sponsor, Apex Hosting. If you're tired of the hassle of self-hosting Minecraft servers, dealing with performance issues, or port forwarding, Apex has you covered. With one-click modpack installations, you can have incredible packs like Valhelsia 6 up and running in under 5 minutes. It's that easy. Apex takes the pain out of server setup so you can jump straight into the fun with your friends, and if things go wrong, their support is available 24/7 to keep the game going. If you do check them out, please use my link, jangro.com/apex. That supports the channel. Thank you for your support. All right, here I am back at the base. I am irradiated still because I'm carrying this uranium around. I'm actually not even sure what this does to me, but let's process it. We need to turn this into regular, regular uranium ingots. Come here, we don't need that. Had I got uranium ore, this rad rock uranium ore, I could put it in here into this mechanism 5 times ore multiplier, but we can just put the basically raw uranium in here. And this is going to give us like 3.3 times on the raw ores. So it's nice we can use our mechanism or quintupling for this Alex's mob's uranium, especially since in this mod pack, Valhelsia 6, mechanism uranium is disabled. And here we go. We've got some uranium ingots. And now let's make fissile fuel. Here's our fissile fuel setup. It's pretty easy. Honestly, I've already got the setup going backwards. The isotopic centrifuge, I've got nothing in here. So we're going to get, I think we process uranium hexafluoride in the isotopic centrifuge. That gets processed into fissile fuel. To get the uranium hexafluoride, we process uranium ingots in an enrichment chamber, and then we get uranium cakes, these yellow cake uranium. This goes in here and gets turned into uranium oxide, which gets combined in a chemical infuser with hydrofluoric acid to make uranium hexafluoride. To get the hydrofluoric acid, we need to process sulfuric acid in a chemical dissolution chamber with fluorite, and we get fluorite from mining. So digital miner, manual mining to get hydrofluoric acid. I've got sulfuric acid coming from my sulfuric acid quantum entangloporter. And I don't even remember where I am getting sulfuric acid from. Where's this coming from? Is it here? Yeah, it's coming from this process in the 5 times ore multiplication. So if we put some coal in here, let's just get some coal, make sure that this is the actual way to do this. That's sulfur. This turns into sulfur dioxide, sulfur trioxide, which gets turned into sulfuric acid. Okay, so this is the same process that we need for 5 times ore multiplication to get sulfuric acid. And so we're filling up this machine now with sulfuric acid, but we've got plenty of it. Okay, so there is the process to make fissile fuel. Again, that's an enrichment chamber to process the uranium. Let's just put that all in there. The yellow cake uranium goes into the chemical oxidizer. That makes uranium oxide. We mix that with hydrofluoric acid in a chemical infuser. We get uranium hexafluoride, which gets processed in the isotopic centrifuge to get fissile fuel. Now I've got a couple of quantum entangloporters, and we're going to put one down right here, and we need to just give the quantum entangloporter a name, and this is going to be fissile fuel. And now we can set the gases, but it's empty. It's all going into this tank. We need to set the tank for input output. And now it's filling up with fissile fuel. Okay, so we got fissile fuel in this quantum entanglement, which we can take down there to our power plant. I've got everything I need to build a reactor. I'm going to do that over here, a little bit of ways from everything else because it can explode. Here's the spot I'm going to put it in. And we'll put down a 5x5 base. This can be up to 18 by 18 by 18 to make a maximum size fission reactor. That would just take an incredible amount of resources. Now, the inside of this, we have these fission fuel assemblies that can't be touching each other. And so this is the optimal layout, a checkerboard of these. And we're going to make them 4 tall each. And then on top of them goes a control rod assembly. And just like other multi-blocks, the edges need to be the casing, and the sides, faces can be glass. Now, don't mistake structural glass here for reactor glass. We need reactor glass, which is made with lead. So it's pretty expensive. This whole structure is pretty expensive with lead. And I'm not quite sure if the top can be glass. We can try that out. So now we need glass on the sides. And again, this is all reactor glass. And we need 4 ports. So I'll put 2 here, and I'll put 2 ports here. And the final side. I don't have enough reactor glass to finish this. I thought I did. Well, I do have enough casing. Let's do this. Okay, we got reactor glass there. Casings up top. And when we put the final one down, it should have given us... Oh, we're missing 3 up here. This is why. 1, 2, 3. There we go. There's the red particles. There's always something missing. All right, here is our fission reactor. So now we just need to connect it up to the boiler with coolant. So in the coolant, we're going to use sodium. So this input right here, now we need some quantum entanglement. So this one here is going to be coolant input, and we'll connect this one to our sodium with pressurized tubes. And we'll put the output for gases, top output, eject on, and that should start to fill our reactor with sodium. Perfect. And this is going to be our fuel input. So fissile fuel set. Gas top output, eject on. And that is filling up our fissile fuel now. So we've got sodium going in here for coolant. It's happening pretty slowly, actually. And let's swap these around. So this will be the coolant output, and this will be the waste output. Okay, now we can make a radioactive waste barrel. We'll put that right here. The pressurized tube going there. And this is going to be our coolant output. And this will need to connect all the way over to here in a new input. So we need a new port on the boiler for coolant input. Okay, so we have coolant output coming out here, going into the input of the boiler, which is going to turn that into steam. And we need coolant output. So we need another boiler valve. And this will be our output coolant. Should be cooled sodium coming out of there. So here we don't have any heated coolant coming in yet, and there'll be coolant coming out of there. So as soon as we turn this on, I think we just need to make sure it's full of sodium. I'm afraid to turn this on without this being fully loaded with coolant. So I'm just going to let that fill up, and I'll be right back and we'll turn it on. While our fission reactor is filling up, let's just talk for a second about where this sodium is even coming from. We're processing the brine from the evaporation plant in this electrolytic separator. It's turning it into sodium and chlorine. The chlorine we're using for our ore quadrupling, I think. And I've got this sodium getting pumped into this tank over here. And I've got 264,000 buckets of sodium. It just needs to get moved, and it's just not really fast. All right, it is just about full, and we're going to be able to turn it on. I can't imagine how long it would take to fill a full-sized 18 by 18 by 18 reactor with sodium. That would take forever. All right, or 17,500 buckets of coolant, and it's sodium. Water would have been much faster to fill up because we could just pump it in from this nearby water. All right, let's turn this thing on. All right, these things are filling up. This is noisy. The fuel is getting used up. The temperature is staying pretty low here. So now we can set this limit to 10. Whoa, and there goes all the sodium. That was a close call. Let's try this again, and we'll set the rate limit to 1. Okay, let's set the rate limit to 2. Okay, now coming over here, we can see that our steam is getting produced much faster. And here's the coolant that's coming in here. And our temperature is 420 degrees Celsius compared to like 101 degrees Celsius that we were getting from a cranked up resistive heater. Okay, this is good. How are we doing over here? We're in plenty good shape. Let's set this to 4. Yeah, see, our coolant is dropping. We're still pumping coolant in from our tank up there. And this is starting to fill up. Okay, so this is going to fill up. We're going to need twice as much coolant as this. Uh-oh, turn it off. Okay, let's try 3. Look how this accelerates. And if this gets down to no coolant, this temperature is going to go through the roof. I just need to get this thing stable. And this seems to be stable. And of course, we're running out of fuel at this point, so we're going to need to fill that up too. So I'm going to play with this some. Maybe do some math and do some research on the math here and see what we need to do to maximize this. And as long as we're maintaining a full coolant tank here, we're in good shape. All right, I think that's going to do it. We'll revisit this when I learn a little bit more about how these tanks fill up. And I think, again, all the different things, our pipes and the boiler and our fission reactor needs to be full of sodium so the sodium doesn't leave the fission reactor and keep it cooled. That's where we get an explosion. We also might get an explosion if our waste fills up, if our power generation stops back here. I think that might also cause a backup. So we've still got a lot to learn. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. I appreciate you.